Ever feel like everyone else has got this whole life thing figured out and you're just kind of winging it?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Like you're playing checkers and everyone else is out there playing chess.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Robert Greene, he's the guy who hands you the chess manual. Yeah.
He does. He does. And today, we're going deep on Robert Greene, going through a fascinating interview we found with him, pulling out the most useful stuff.
Yeah, and what's so interesting about Greene is his own path to success was anything but straightforward.
Anything but. I mean, over 60 jobs before he really hit it big.
Okay, 60 jobs, construction worker, hotel receptionist.
Hotel receptionist, screenwriter in Hollywood, you name it, he's probably done it.
Not your typical author story.
No. But, and this is what he really emphasizes, those experiences became the foundation of everything he writes about. All those good, bad, and just plain weird jobs, they became his writing laboratory.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Because we can probably all relate to that feeling of like, what am I doing with my life? Why did I have to work that terrible summer job?
Totally.
Yep.
And Greene would say, no, there's a lesson in there. He's a big believer that nothing goes to waste.
Okay, I like that.
Like he talks about learning about power dynamics, not from some textbook, but from observing terrible bosses.
Oh, yeah, we've all had a few of those.
Right. And he was just soaking it all in, unintentionally gathering material for what would become, the 48 laws of power and all that.
So it's almost like he was destined to become this expert in power dynamics, even if he didn't realize it at the time.
And here's the takeaway, because he says this applies to all of us. What experiences from your past, and they might seem totally unrelated to what you're doing now, might actually be valuable assets in disguise.
I love that. So it's not just about the experiences themselves, it's about recognizing the hidden value.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? How do we figure out what those hidden gems even are?
Well, this is where it gets even more interesting. He has this idea of impulse voices. These are those innate interests, passions that we maybe felt really strongly about as kids, but kind of push aside as we get older.
Okay, so like when you were a kid and you were drawn to a certain activity or hobby, for me it was writing stories, putting on plays, definitely my impulse voice back then.
There we go. Greene would say that's not just a childhood phase, that's a clue. These voices, they offer hints about what we're really meant to be doing, even if it doesn't seem directly related to our career or whatever. He even suggests journaling to uncover those deeper interests.
Interesting. So if someone's feeling lost, revisiting those things that excited them as a kid could be a good starting point.
Exactly. It's about reconnecting with that innate drive you might not even realize is still there.
Okay. So we've got this idea that our past experiences, even the seemingly random ones, can be valuable. And now we're talking about these impulse voices, things we might have forgotten about.
Right.
It all comes back to self-awareness, doesn't it?
You've hit the nail on the head. That's the foundation. Really knowing yourself, recognizing those experiences, listening to those impulse voices, it's all connected.
So we've talked about self-awareness, but how do we translate all that into like actual power?
Right. How do you take that self-knowledge and actually use it?
Yeah. This is where his book, The 48 Laws of Power, comes in.
Exactly. It's a goldmine of insights. But if I had to pick one that really stands out, it's that whole idea of making yourself indispensable.
Okay. But not in a manipulative way.
No, not at all. It's not about being the only one who knows how to use the copy machine or something. Greene's talking about genuine value, becoming so good at what you do that you become crucial.
Okay, so give me an example. How do you actually make yourself indispensable?
Okay, so let's say there's a particular skill or area of expertise that's really important to your company. Could be anything.
Right.
And you become the master of that thing. You're the go-to person. You've got all the knowledge. Everyone relies on you. That's power, but it's earned, not demanded.
So it's about becoming so good they can't ignore you.
Exactly. You're not just another cog in the machine. You're an essential part of how everything works.
I like it. Okay, what about that other law? The one about never appearing too perfect? That one always seemed counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? Like, you should be striving for perfection, right?
Yeah.
But Greene's point is when you present this flawless image all the time, especially in this age of social media, it can backfire.
Oh, I see. It creates envy.
Exactly. People get resentful. They're less likely to want to help you or see you succeed.
The tall poppy syndrome, right?
Exactly that. So he suggests incorporating some humility, even a little self-deprecation.
You're saying there's power in being vulnerable.
In a way, yeah. It disarms people, makes you seem more relatable.
Wow. So next time on social media, instead of pretending everything's perfect, maybe I should post about, like, burning dinner or something.
There you go. See, you get it. It's about strategic vulnerability.
Strategic vulnerability. I like that. Okay, so we've got self-awareness, building value, embracing imperfection. Where does the long game fit into all of this?
Ah, this is key. See, Greene, he's all about the long game. He emphasizes that true power, the kind that leads to lasting fulfillment, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts. It's about resisting that urge for instant gratification. It's about focusing on mastery.
Okay, I can see how that ties into everything else we've been talking about.
Huh.
You're not going to become indispensable. You're not going to master a skill overnight. That takes time. It takes dedication.
It does. And it takes a willingness to play that long game, to delay gratification, to put in the work, and then reap the rewards of all that effort. Think of it like this. Think of it like you're building a house, right? You could throw something up really fast, just slap it together.
Right, and it might look okay for a little bit.
Yeah, but a stiff wind comes along and the whole thing's coming down.
Exactly.
But if you take the time to lay a solid foundation brick by brick,
Ah, okay.
that's going to last. That's the difference.
So you're not just building a house. You're building something that's going to stand the test of time.
Exactly. And Greene's point is that's how we should approach our skills, our careers, even our lives.
It's that long-term thinking.
And the satisfaction you get from actually achieving something that way, there's
Yeah.
no comparison. It's way more fulfilling than chasing those quick hits, those instant gratifications.
Because those fade so fast. Like you get that little dopamine rush and then it's gone.
Gone. But that feeling of, like, I did that, I built that, I earned that,
That's last.
that's where the real power is. Not in shortcuts or trying to game the system, but in the depth of your knowledge, the dedication to your craft.
This has been amazing. I mean, I'd read some of Greene's work before, but to really go deep like this, eye-opening.
He's got a way of connecting those dots, you know? Like, it all seems kind of obvious once he lays it out, but it's not something you think about every day.
No, not at all. Self-awareness, strategic thinking, the long game, they all fit together, don't they?
They do. It's a framework, a way of looking at the world that can apply to pretty much anyone, whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, or just someone who wants to get more out of life.
Absolutely. It's about being intentional. So for everyone listening, here's something to think about. What have you viewed your own life, your own journey through this lens? What hidden strengths could you leverage? What passions have you been ignoring that might hold the key to your own version of mastery? The answers might surprise you. That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.